I got my master's in communication culture and technology from Georgetown University, and when I decided that I wanted to go back to school, I knew it was because I wanted to research. I had missed researching, I missed writing, I missed being able to like take an artifact and analyze it, and that's why I went back to school. And it was while I was at school that I decided that my goal was to encourage people to think critically about media, culture, and everyday life, and to communicate theory to general interest audiences. That led me to starting my podcast, Media Culture and Why We Feel Like Crying So Much, me starting daily culture critiques on TikTok, and now here I am on YouTube. I've gotten a couple questions on my videos, and then I made a post asking people to leave questions for like a little get to know me. So this video is going to be me sharing how I got to where I am being a professor, making videos, and then also tips on how to make content and the obstacles that I ran into. I cringe when I said content because what I am doing is making content. I am making content for TikTok. I am making content for YouTube. But I feel like this is research based. I don't know. So the first question I got was, how did you decide on teaching as a career you'd like to pursue? When I was younger, I wanted to be a teacher. I wanted to be a kindergarten teacher. I thought it would be a lot of fun. I like that aspect of playing, but also exploring and learning. And that was one of those answers that I had when people asked me, like, what do you want to be? But I never thought that I would actually do this until I started working for a teaching and learning center in undergrad. It was at UMW's, formerly known as Division of Teaching and Learning Technologies, that I was engaging with professors who really, one, cared about what they were teaching, two, cared about the students that they were working with. So I started this path by working on the staff side, working with professors, doing cohorts, like leading workshops, organizing events. That these posters are actually from Digital Pedagogy Lab. It was a week-long conference that we had during the summer where academics, staff, librarians, everybody could come together and play and learn and just really engage with the teaching and learning practice. And that's where I was like, oh yeah, like I would love to continue doing this, but I did also think that I would continue more on the staff side. I wanted to teach, but at that point, I didn't want to go back to school. I didn't want to get my master's. I did not want to get a PhD. And then from there, I went to a research advocacy organization where all of our work was to support students' basic needs, talking to policymakers, talking to presidents at schools and stuff. And that's where I continued to engage with this work. And it was here that I really realized that what I missed doing the most was actually working with research. And I wanted to write, I wanted to like teach. So I decided to go back to school. I applied to grad school, and it was there that I became a TA, and I was like, oh no, this is something that I can actually do. I also worked for their teaching and learning center, making videos, but I was adjacently in that teaching world. So you can say I kind of fell into it, but I think these were decisions that aligned with my interests and what I wanted to do. I've been teaching for over a year now, and I get so much joy out of working with students on their papers, on their projects, and really encouraging this learning aspect and being able to explore, being able to play. Oh, the lighting is changing. The next question I got was, do you also do research at the university? I don't do research at this university. I am an adjunct professor, so I am not full-time. They don't pay me to do research, but I do research on my own. So I engage with materials on my own, but I also have a podcast, Media Culture and Why We Feel Like Crying So Much, where my co-host and we met in grad school and we engaged with similar texts and we had similar research interests, so we decided to make a podcast. And so I'm doing research in that realm, and just in my everyday life I like to read and write and analyze and all that, so I am engaging in research on my own but not for the university. The next question I got was, how does one find the courage to film themselves talking about stuff? How did this start for you? Who was competent enough to do such things? I think who was competent enough. I want to take this from like a practice angle because it did take me a long time to be comfortable in front of a camera, and anybody can make videos. We know that from YouTube and TikTok. Anybody can do it, but it's just, where does your intention why are you doing this? I made a few TikToks before I decided to commit to the daily culture critiques. I posted a couple YouTube videos. Some of them are actually still up on this channel before I decided to go down this content path, you can say. But competency is something that you can work on. So talking in front of a camera, it took me so long. It took me months of talking daily in front of my phone in order to get comfortable talking to a camera, and that did get better. You can see me getting better, and I'm not like perfect at it, but definitely practice. But then also, again, back to the intention, you need that why as to why you're making these videos. So for me, it's to communicate research, to encourage critical thinking, to connect with people, and then also some fun, but that is why I am showing up, and I do think intention drives a lot of it. How does one find the courage? That's a great question. Once you nail that intention, that will drive you. When I first started posting videos to TikTok, I was very nervous. I was wondering who was looking at me, what they were thinking about what I was saying. But one of the things that I learned is that, one, once you put something out there and it gains traction, it kind of loses what it was that you imagined. So thinking about calm theory, like I am person A, you, the person that I would be talking to in real life, will be person B, and then I have a message. And actually, listen to Speaking Into the Air, our podcast episode. We actually go into this communication theory. But anyway, there I have an imagined view of the receiver of my message, and this ties into one of the questions of what obstacles have I encountered. It's you can imagine what your content is going to look like, and then at a certain point it takes a life of its own. So all of these things were I was thinking about it, but again, I don't know if it's courage. I think it was just intention and continued practice that got me to here. And the last question I want to address is maybe a future topic. It's about your journey to the YouTube world and what obstacles you had already overcome, starting from when you had 0 subscribers. Great question. I always loved making YouTube videos. Again, I made videos when I was in high school, when I was in college. I vlogged a lot, but I never really stuck with it. I was never consistent with it. I made a video whenever I wanted to. And then I ran into the obstacle of like finding royalty-free music and like trying to find my audience and trying to communicate this in a way that people would resonate with it. Like, people don't care who you are. It's whether or not they resonate with what you are putting out. And I didn't really grasp that, again, until I found my intention and I practiced what I was going. See, even with practice, you can't. Oh my god, now I'm stuttering even more. But I decided to come to YouTube mainly because I found that on TikTok. This fits in with the obstacle question too, but I found that on TikTok I would post a 20-second critique or like a 1-minute critique, and people would come after me. And there's so much you can put in a video in 20 seconds to a minute long, and while all of my takes are founded in research, founded in theory, founded in text, and founded in my lived experience, you can't communicate all of that. I am an academic at my core, so I love providing sources. I love providing text. I love sharing different perspectives and different conversations that one artifact or one topic can take. And I wasn't getting that with TikTok, but then it was on TikTok that I was getting a following, that people were really resonating. And that's where I kind of stuck. But then they mentioned the TikTok ban, and I was like, this is my chance to move. And that was actually a catalyst for me actually making the move to YouTube. I would say for starting with 0 subscribers, this is very interesting, mainly because I did have a following on TikTok, but it wasn't a big following. It was a little under 3,000 people, which even that is insane to think about, because when I teach, I only teach to 25 students, and even the conferences that I've spoken at, they were less than 50 people. So it's crazy that thousands of people are resonating with this messaging. But when I shared that I was moving to YouTube on TikTok, I only got like 10 people to move over with me. So a lot of the people that found my YouTube was quote organic. People found it on the suggestion page or people shared it. I don't do a lot of promo for my YouTube, and I think a lot of it, I gotta say, is clickbaiting. The titles that I have on my thumbnails, I think really get people to watch my videos. And as much as I hate doing it because I feel like I'm just fully leaning into the marketing side, that is not that deep within me because my day job is in marketing, but I really think it's the titling, how you initially draw people in, that got me to keep getting people to watch my videos and to follow. Those are all the questions that I have to answer right now, but if you have any more questions, if you want to get to know me a little bit more, please leave them below and I will either text reply. I love responding to people in my comments, or I'll make another one of these. Thank you for engaging with my videos, with the recommendations I am sharing, with the life that I am sharing, and I really, again, enjoyed talking with everybody in my comments. So I appreciate everybody, and thank you for sticking around, and I will see you in the next video.